there, my name is Nicole Antoinette and I'm a psychic medium, and in this video I want to show you how you can spend quality time with your loved ones who are in the spirit world. Now I know that probably sounds a little strange because that's not something that's usually talked about, but I want you to consider this. Every time your loved one sends a message to you or sends a sign to you, they are creating a new experience for you. They are creating a new memory for you. And there's really no reason as to why you can't do that consciously with intent. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. So it's actually really simple. You don't have to do anything weird. We're not going to do a seance. All you have to do is focus on your loved one who is in the spirit world. And as you're focusing on them, I want you to get a sheet of paper and a pen, or of course you can also open up your notepad or tablet or whatever you wish to write on. And I want you to start thinking about all the different hobbies and interests and organizations and causes that your loved one was excited about or passionate about. Think about the things that they love to do. Was there someone in your family who loved to cook? Was there a friend who was totally obsessed with cars and maybe fixing them up? Did you have a loved one in spirit who liked roller coasters and amusement parks? Or maybe there's someone who enjoyed hiking. Take a moment to really think about all the things that they enjoyed doing. Now, here is a challenge for you. Try to come up with 100. Try to come up with 100 different things that they enjoyed doing, that they were passionate about, and you can even cheat on this a little bit. And so what you can do is create a list that's a little more organized. So let's say that you have a loved one on the other side who was a big movie buff. So on one page, you might actually write down movies and then write down a few of the movies that they enjoyed watching. On the next page, you might write down cooking, and you might enjoy some of the things that they love to cook, or maybe some of the things that they love to eat. On the next page, you might write down the different parks that they loved going to. So what you're doing at that point is you are creating different categories, and under each category is a different, I guess you could say, segment, but they are all umbrellaed within that category. And so once you have a list of 100 things to do, and I know some of you are freaking out right now, I can already feel it, and you're like, I don't know if I can come up with 100 things. That's fine. The reason we're saying 100 is because it really gets your mind to start generating as many ideas and memories as it can of that person. So even if you get up to 49 or 72 or 68 or 89, whatever the number is, that's totally fine. And remember, you can always come back and add to the list. So it's not like you have to sit down in this moment, complete it. You can never add on to it. It is set in concrete. That's not how it works. You can always go back and add more. I would not be surprised if some of you get to a point where you're adding so much to the list that you come up with like 250 different things that your loved one was passionate about. But for now, we're gonna aim for 100 because I think it's a good number. Once you have that list, I want you to look over it and think about something that you would really like to do with this person or in honor of that person. Take your time with this and see what things pop off of it. What causes, what experiences, what hobbies, what movies, which ones jump right off the page to you. If something is really tugging at your heart, I believe that is partly your loved one in spirit saying, ooh, that one, let's do that one. So pay attention to those intuitive pulls and the excitement that you get as you're looking at that list. Now, there might be a few different ones that tug at you, and that is fantastic. And if that is your experience, write those down. The ones that are capturing your attention, the ones that you're feeling most drawn to, the ones that are coming off the page, write those down. We want to pay special attention to those. And now what you're going to do is I want you to choose one that you definitely want to do with your loved one in spirit. You want to do this thing with them so you can create a new experience for the both of you and create what is hopefully going to be a really great memory. So look at the list, choose one, and set a date and time for when you're going to do that thing. Even if it's baking cookies, even if it's reading a book, whatever it is, don't have any judgment towards it. Don't tell yourself that you don't need to set aside time for it because it's such a simple thing. No. You are essentially setting an appointment or a date to spend time with your loved one. And you want to be sure that you're able to carve that time so that you're free of distractions and you can kind of prepare for it ahead of time. Get your calendar, write down what day and write down what time and write down the event that you're going to do on that day and time. Once that day approaches, once that time is approaching, and that time could even be like later today, that's absolutely fine. What I want you to do is I want you to just sit down and focus on that person. So you'll sit down, close your eyes, and see that person with as much clarity as you can. Remember them in as much detail as you can. See if you can feel them in the room with you. And if you can't feel them, that's fine. But I think that for many of you, as you close your eyes to see them, I think you're going to see them quite clearly. And just in your mind's eye, let them know that you're about to dive into this experience of baking brownies or making cookies or watching a TV or going for a walk or whatever it is with them in mind, and that you would really like it if they joined you. So as you start to dive into this experience, regardless of what it is, as you start to dive into this new activity, picture your loved one near you with your eyes open. Just kind of see if you can sense their presence and talk to them as if they're right there. Now, for some of you, you may have someone on the other side who loved going to the movies, or they loved getting manicures and pedicures, and so that's something that you want to go do in public. Well, that's perfectly okay. You can absolutely do that. And when you're getting your manicure and pedicure and you are picturing your loved one near you, just close your eyes and have a conversation with them with your eyes closed. Imagine that they are in the chair next to you, that they're getting their nails done, and just see what type of conversation takes place between you and your loved one in spirit. Now, I do want to give you a heads up on this. When you first do this, it might feel weird. You might wonder, what if this is just in my head? Like, I feel like I'm making this up. That's okay, just do it anyway. Do it anyway, with repetition and with practice. And as you start to get a better sense that your loved one is there, those doubts will begin to fade away. And you will have faith that you are in fact spending time with your loved one. And as you are diving into an event or an experience or an activity, and as you are thinking of your loved one and as you are talking to them in your mind, because again, if you're getting a manicure or pedicure or you're out to the movies and you're talking to an empty chair, people are going to think you're crazy. So it's best to keep that conversation private and in your mind, and just picture them in your mind and talk to them in your mind and see what they say back. And what will begin to happen usually is you'll start to get some type of synchronicities. So for example, if in your mind's eye you are talking to your aunt or a best friend and she mentions something about how she's really hungry for pizza or she misses, some type of food, you may end up having an experience where your roommate comes home and she's like, I don't know why, but I felt like picking up pizza on the way home. Are you hungry for it? And you're like, oh my God, like that never happens. And so there's different ways that synchronicities will take place, and that will begin to confirm that you are in fact communicating with your loved one in spirit and that this experience is real in some form. While you're picturing your loved one getting a manicure and pedicure, she may not really be getting a mani-pedi. That may not really be taking place, but you're doing it in her honor. Her energy is blending with you. So in a way, she's kind of doing that through you. The second thing to keep in mind is that you may end up experiencing an emotional overload. And I want you to know that that is completely normal as well. There have been a couple times where I decided I was going to spend time with my Aunt Terry, who's in the spirit world, and I decided I was going to read a book because I remember that she really enjoyed reading. When I became an adult, I did not see my Aunt Terry very much. In fact, I don't know if I saw her at all when I was an adult. So I kind of lost contact with her and that whole side of the family when I was 18, when I turned 18. And that was by choice. That's something that I decided to do because that side of the family was so toxic. If you guys can hear the train, I apologize about that. So I hear it too. And so I don't have a lot of memories of her. I can feel her spirit near me a lot of the times, and she's so cheerful and she's fun. I do remember she liked dancing. I remember she likes drinking. I remember that she definitely likes food and her chips and guacamole. So my remembrance of her, my memories of her are limited. And so I cling to what I remember without a doubt about her. So I sat down one day to read, and I got myself all comfortable on the couch and made myself some coffee, and I started thinking about her. And so I could feel her next to me, and I could envision her next to me. And as I was reading this book, I kind of started talking to her, and then I got a little emotional because I missed her. And I wish we did spend more time when I had been an adult. But that didn't happen. And it couldn't happen because the reality is that she was kind of toxic when she was alive. And I think I needed to walk away from her because she, as lovely as she was, she probably would have pulled me down the wrong path. But as a kid, I adored my Aunt Terry, and I actually still do. But she just made some decisions in life that weren't good for her and led her down a path that I couldn't follow. And so I did get emotional, and you can see I'm kind of getting emotional now. So if that happens, I want you to know that that's normal because you miss that person, right? So there's going to be some grief, or there could be some grief there. There could be regrets and remorse that start to come up, and like me, you might look at certain things and just say, gosh, I wish this had been different between us. Like, I wish that this was an experience we could have had when you were in the flesh, when you were still in physical form. And so all of that stuff can come up. And spirit is usually completely compassionate and understanding and loving. And so, even in that moment, you get to share that with them. Like, you guys get to share that pain and that remorse and that regret and that guilt together. And in that, I think there's a lot of forgiveness, and there's also a lot of healing that can take place. And this is what I mean about having an experience with your loved one who's in spirit and creating new memories. Like that memory of me sitting down with my Aunt Terry while she was in spirit world, and I'm obviously still in physical form, was a very precious memory. And it's something that I will probably always remember. And since then, I've created different experiences with loved ones in heaven, and it was a fun experience. And those are now good, cherished memories that I have. So even when your loved one is in spirit, you can still spend time with them. You can still do things with them. You can still plan trips and vacations. You can go on hikes. They are with you, and they are living that experience with you and through you. And I think that you're going to find that as you get into the rhythm of this, and especially if you make this a weekly thing or a daily thing, depending on the activities you choose and the experiences you want to dive into, that your grief will start to heal. Your grief will begin to lighten because you found a new way to spend time with them. I know that a lot of different programs and spirit circles focus on communication with spirit, and that's fantastic. Communicating is obviously wonderful, but there's not enough out there about spending quality time and creating new experiences. And I think that once you get the communication aspect down, I think that spending time with them and creating new experiences is critical to keeping that relationship going. In fact, I believe that when you do this type of exercise where you're envisioning them and you're creating fun things to do together, I think that can actually make the communication aspect a lot easier because you become more in tune with their energy. And I believe that allows you to sense their presence easier and faster. And I do believe that the communication aspect becomes a lot stronger on pretty much all levels. Now, if you would like to learn even more ways and more methods and have more tools that will allow you to communicate with your loved one in spirit, be sure that you check out my Embracing Heaven online course. The link is in the description area, so absolutely check that out. Also, be sure that you check out all of the videos that I have here on YouTube that also show you how to communicate with your loved ones in spirit. It's easy, it's relatively fast. You don't have to be psychic, you don't have to be super intuitive, you don't have to be a medium for these methods to work, so check them out. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.